can barely go a day in the Pokemon community without hearing the word Nuzlocke. It is a name so well known that it has transcended the Pokemon community and has slowly leaked into other gaming circles. Streamers, YouTubers, and comic artists have based entire series and sagas on this variant. Where did this challenge come from? Where the heck did that name even originate? Grab yourself some tea, and let me take you on a journey. We have to dial the clock back to the winter of 2010. At the University of California, Santa Cruz, a comic artist named Nick Franco was bored during finals season. Like any college student, instead of studying for his finals, he instead popped his copy of Pokemon Ruby into his Game Boy Advance. Instead of a plain old playthrough, however, Franco decided to spice things up by instituting 2 rules for this playthrough. 1. You may only capture the first Pokemon in each new area you visit. 2. If a Pokemon fainted, they are dead and are to be released. With those 2 rules, he began his new journey into Hoenn. After discovering how fun the challenge was for him, Franco decided to create a comic series based on his experiences. He posted them on the V board of 4chan, and then later on his website. It was during the posts on 4chan that readers began dubbing the challenge as the Nuzlocke Challenge, named after the Nuzleaf with the face of John Locke from the series Lost. It was featured heavily in Franco's comic, and even though it died early on in the journey, its spirit guided the player along for the rest of the journey, much like the real John Locke did. It did not just stop with that one comic. The original comic ended after a party wipe against Steven, and afterwards Franco started a new comic for a Fire Red playthrough, and after that, he is currently doing one for Pokemon White. Readers of the comics also started their own challenges as well, chronicling them through text, comics of their own, or YouTube playthroughs. At the end of 2010, the Nuzlocke forums opened up and still has a huge amount of activity to this very day. In 2011, Know Your Meme interviewed Franco, and one of the questions that was asked was why he thought that people still do the Nuzlocke challenge. Franco responded, "I'd say the main reason most people take on the challenge is for the experience, though. When you first hear about it, it can seem pretty stupid. After all, why would you want to limit or restrict your experience in Pokemon with extra rules? But if you check out even one Nuzlocke comic or story, you'll see that what you're missing out on. It adds risk and randomness to a series that can get repetitive and stale, and you will always cherish things more when there's a chance you could lose them." In 2022, a simple Google search of Nuzlocke yields over 2 million results. There are YouTube channels devoted entirely to the challenge. It has certainly stood a test of time. In my opinion, the reason the challenge has stood up so far is the simplicity of the base rules and the massive variations that have shown up over the years. Looking on Nuzlocke's website, the challenge only has 2 simple rules. 1. You may only capture the first Pokemon in each new area you visit. 2. If a Pokemon faints, they are dead and are to be released. That's it. As years went by, some rules have been added that are for the most part universally accepted. You need to give all your Pokemon nicknames. It increases the emotional bond with the Pokemon. The run does not actually begin until you receive Pokeballs. This is normally accepted due to in most of the games, you have to go through a route or 2 early on before receiving your Pokedex. Without this rule, the first route would not have an encounter for you to capture. These days, most Nuzlocke runs have a dupes clause, which determines what you do when you encounter a Pokemon in a new area that you have already previously captured. Runs with dupe clauses will search for new encounters a certain number of times to find a Pokemon they have not yet captured, in order to increase the team variety. In terms of shiny Pokemon, most runs will have a shiny clause as well. Normally, if you find a shiny, even if you have already had your encounter for that area, you can still capture that Pokemon. Unless you enjoy killing shinies, then go for it. For many, the Nuzlocke gives tons of challenge to their Pokemon games, but like everything, some folks just want it harder. Here are some relatively common settings folks have used to increase their Nuzlocke's challenge even more. Setting the battle style to set, so you cannot switch Pokemon when an enemy trainer sends out a new one. No legendary Pokemon allowed. No items allowed to be used in battle. A maximum level for each gym. Any Pokemon that goes above that level cannot be used until you get the badge. A party wipe would be considered a game over, even if you have extra Pokemon in your PC. That's just a few examples. You can make an insanely restricted Nuzlocke or play the basic rules. That's the beauty of the challenge, you can customize it how you want. For instance, Generation 6 introduced the Wonder Trade, so it didn't take Nuzlocke-loving masochists long to find a way to create another variant for their favorite challenge run. The Wonderlock goes with the normal rules of the Nuzlocke challenge, with one addition. Any Pokemon that you catch must be immediately placed in the Wonder Trade. The Pokemon you receive is what you will use. YouTuber and streamer Maryland created a variant called the Wedlock. In the Wedlock, Pokemon of opposite genders are paired up with normal catching rules. Once a Pokemon is in a battle, only that Pokemon or its spouse may fight. You cannot switch to any others. If it dies, then the spouse has to come out and either finish the fight or die trying, like any good marriage. The Egglock is similar to the Wonderlock, but instead of using Wonder Trade, the player has eggs on standby to be traded over. The source of the eggs could be from friends, a third-party program, stolen from a local nursery, whatever. Just like in the Wonderlock, each Pokemon that is caught is traded for an egg. Hatched Pokemon is used for the Nuzlocke. Now, if you want an epic Nuzlocke journey, the likes of Lord of the Rings or the Wheel of Time, the Generation Lock is something to consider. In this version, normally starting off in the Kanto region, you take your Hall of Fame team and use them as your starting team in the next game in the series. It's easiest to do this with emulators and third-party programs, and it can create a long, epic challenge spanning many different generations. Finally, the Sleep Lock is a Nuzlocke, but you can't go to sleep until it's been completed. Yes, that's the whole challenge. Now, let's say you're bored with the base game. Let's say that you even completed an Omega, Wedlock, Generational, Wonder Trading, Nuzlocke of Death. Then, let's use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to change things up even more. It's a program that has been around for years. It lets you randomize and change almost every aspect of the game, from changing starters, changing encounters, even randomizing trainers and the items on the ground. The amount of insanity you can do to your Pokemon games is amazing. This opened up even more variety for Nuzlockes as well. A lot of set strategies go out the window when each game is completely randomized. Can you still beat Brock when he is packing legendary Pokemon? The randomizer can either create a little variety or go full-blown insanity with the entire game turned upside down. One of my favorite runs using the randomizer had me with every Pokemon having a completely randomized type, with all the evolutions randomized as well. It was almost a completely different game at that point, and I loved every minute of it. Well, until my whole team got snuffed out by a Wonder Guard Vulpix that we could not even touch. You might want to disallow Wonder Guard because of situations like that. There's a reason that the Nuzlocke has been a part of the internet culture for over 11 years. In my opinion, it's not just because of how fun these challenges are to do, or the huge amount of variety they offer. They changed the way the base game is played, introducing consequences, a different run every time you play, and the ability to play a game series that is nostalgic for so many people. To me, that's always the best part of doing challenge runs in your favorite games, experiencing them in new ways. I'm sure Nuzlockes will continue to be experienced and also evolve for many years to come. I appreciate you taking the time listening to me rant, rave, and talk about things for a while. If you enjoyed the video, definitely leave a like and maybe subscribe. If not, throw me a dislike and tell me how much you hate me down in the comments. Thank you, and have a fantastic day.